Hey up lads and lasses, Damphyre here, back again with some more Infinite Lagrange. Today, carrying on with the Corvette, we are jumping into the Nebula Chaser. Two variants to talk about here, which is quite nice. One of the variants less useful in most situations, or almost all situations, than the Pulse variant. But, you know, if you're struggling for stuff, it's a reasonable Corvette, and if it's one of the only Corvettes you got, it is actually still worth running. It has got some damage potential, albeit it's not amazing at all. So, with the cannon variant, it has this rocket tower, which is alright. You've got the airborne cannon system, which is really what you want to be trying to buff up on this thing. Armor system, again, at least you got the triple HP mods here. These things are, I find, like really squidgy, and they die pretty quickly, even with the increased ship evasion. You have got target selection times here as well, albeit if you look at the increased, oh no, not that one, where is it? Cannon system. If we look at the cannon system, its lock-on time's not too bad, so reducing it too much might put it ahead of the Void Elfins or whatever screens you're using. So you need to be a little bit careful with that. But that being said, if you have got your screen out, you can genuinely ignore the armor system and propulsion systems for a little bit, allowing you to go straight onto its weapon systems. So, start off with the cannon system. It has got prioritize attacks on carriers. If you've got this on something like a Jaeger, you don't need to pick this up, which is actually quite nice because it frees up the slot. However, if you are running it on, say, AC-71s or something like that, which don't have the ability to make that aircraft prioritize aircraft, and you do want something to prioritize aircraft carriers, not aircraft, carriers, you can pick up the strategy here. However, I do recommend running it on Jaeger instead in that situation. However, at the same time, I don't feel this thing has the damage output necessary to really deal with carriers. At 50 damage per hit, you're reducing that to 5 damage per hit against pretty much all carriers because they have at least 50 armor, like all the time, just at base. So I genuinely don't recommend picking it up whatsoever. Pretty much. It's not the best strategy. It's just like, in a pinch, it's maybe what you have to go for. I recommend picking up the hit rate. It has actually got really good hit rate on this, to be honest. And it does allow it to put it into a situation where it does quite well against Frigate Destroyer. If you don't prioritize carriers with it, you just put it onto an AC-721 or CAS aircraft if you really have to. You can put it onto those type of ships, and it has a hit rate buff that you can pick up here. It has a natural inbuilt hit rate buff from its information jamming system, or precision guidance system, sorry, where you're getting a 30% increased hit rate. So I do recommend picking that up. And then after the hit rate buff, you're going to do pretty much the same as usual. You're going to go for the weapon system cooldown. There is a second cooldown that you can pick up here as well. That brings you to 1 hit rate buff, 2 cooldowns, 3 of your 7, 6. Picking up the double damage here as well. And then, in my opinion, you probably want to take the crit damage here. This is the open slot where you can kind of play around with a little bit. You can pick up the hit rate against fighters' corvettes. It allows that rocket system, well, allows these cannons to somewhat target aircraft in the counter-attack, but again, it's not ideal. And you can pick up the target selection time here as well, bringing it down by 6%. So you need to be careful with that, though, because on the propulsion system, you have got pretty much no option but to pick one of the target selection times of the primary weapon system and one of the ship evasions. So you're already reducing your target selection time, so further reducing it could put it in front of that screen. So be aware, you might even leave that slot empty or pick up the crit. Is probably what I will do. I'll probably pick up the crit personally and the target selection time on the prop instead. The assault missile system, you can generally ignore and leave this to last. It is not particularly great. 30 damage per hit. It's got 1 times 4 rounds per second, a 6-second lock-on time with a 4-second duration. 4-second lock-on time, 4-second duration, 6-second cooldown. It's not particularly great. Increasing the hit rate of it, going cooldown and 1 damage mod is your best bet for that system. However, instead of going into the rocket system, once you've got the cannons up, I'd recommend then going into more of its ability to tank. Going into the propulsion system, increasing its ship evasion a bit, going into its armor system, picking up the triple HP mod, and going into the enhanced, information enhancement system, and picking up both of the chance of being hit by guided weapons and the direct fire. Pick up the direct fire first. That's going to help it out against Mistral T800 more, and the chance of being hit by guided weapons will help it against Sandrakes a bit more. Again, Spores being direct fire as well. Then, last but not least, finish off that assault missile system with your hit rate cooldown and torpedo missile damage. So yeah, I mean, it's reasonable. It doesn't do like absurd damage like the Pulse is capable of. At the same time, if maybe you don't have the Pulse, and maybe you've got 10 Corvette slots free and you've already got the screens and stuff in there, you can run it. It's not terrible. It's very middle ground, shall we say. Now, the Pulse Cannon Nebula. This thing can dish out a lot of damage potential, mostly because of its energy weapon. But yeah, it is really good. Just try it out. If you can get this behind the screen and it doesn't get targeted straight off the bat, which happens quite a bit, unfortunately, with the Nebs, it can dish out a lot of damage. So I definitely recommend running this if you've got it. Again, same as before, if you've got the ability to, forcibly get other things targeted, have that screen in front, you can go straight into the weapon system. If not, go into the propulsion system, pick up your ship evasion first, then pick up your information enhancement ship system, where you're picking up both the counterattack and the guidance detection jamming, which is against guided weapons, direct fire weapon reductions, and the armor system, where you go triple HP. After that, go into the weapon system. I have actually picked up the rapid fire on here. I was testing it out to see if it really did anything. It's not personally worth picking up. I was testing it, and I think actually picking up the chance to do the 10% crit is better. So I'd recommend actually not running the strategy here. I picked it up for testing purposes before I got this video out. Again, we got 2 hit rate buffs here, which is quite nice. So pick both of those up. Pick your system cooldown. You don't have a second cooldown, which is a bit unfortunate. So you're going to be picking up the double cannon damage here, and instead of the rapid fire strategy here, pick up the crit damage. It will definitely give you a better damage output over the course of a battle than the strategy will. And save you a little bit of tech points on it, which is quite nice. I bet if I, remove this now, get the strategy back, I can max this ship out. So yeah, because I think I'm only missing some of the target selection time off the, bit of target selection time off the prop system. So there you go. Neb Chaser Pulsar Corvette is definitely the one to be running. It's fantastic in, situations where you need to be targeting, any ships really. However, I find this really does excel quite well on a Jaeger, where you've got it targeting carriers, because, again, this weapon system at 216 damage per hit, and this is without the 30% damage buff, because, again, I've been pumping all of these tech things into the research agreement in my attempt to get the Mistral, which is kind of detrimental because we're in the current war at the moment, and it's kind of difficult to do that because now I've got like reduced damage fleet because I'm trying to put research agreement for YouTube videos. Yeah, I'm sure once Mortar sees this, he's going to be horrified with me. So yeah, it's got a great cooldown. Lock-on times 9.25 seconds. You get that down to around, I think it's about 6 seconds or somewhere around there once you finish that prop out. And yeah, it's definitely really decent energy damage, 240-ish damage, I think, with about the 30% damage module. Damage increase as well as the damage increases from the modules, the 20% here, sorry. So yeah, definitely we've got the Pulsar Corvette. Run it. One of the highest damage Corvettes you can currently use. So, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.